All right, it's 12:02. I'm going to go ahead and get started. We'll just let everyone else in as they come. But my name is Alicia Mowry. I'm the Director of Public Information for the Delaware Area Career Center, and we appreciate all of you being here today. We know you come to us with a lot of questions, and we will run this session similar to what we did with the counselor session. Our principals have a lot of great information, and for the most part, they know the types of questions you're coming with, and they will share everything with you. If we cover a section and your question hasn't been answered, feel free to type it into the chat. I'm going to drop into the background, and I will try to answer all of your questions. I can stop the gentlemen as they're midway through the presentation and make sure those questions get answered. So this will be recorded, and afterwards we will send out the recording along with a PDF of the slides. So there's a lot of links in those slides, and you'll get access to all of that after this is done. So you can watch it again. If you have to jump off early, you won't miss anything. And if you want to share it with anyone, you're welcome to do that as well. So with that, I will hand this over to our high school director, Mr. David Gillum.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our DACC family. Currently, right now, we are 850 students for next school year that have been accepted, and they have confirmed a seat. So congratulations. We're excited to have you with us. It really goes to show you the need and desire for career tech education in Delaware County and Franklin County. So thank you, parents, for supporting your son and daughter as they come over here to the Career Center next school year. So starting out real quick, we're going to have our principals on this meeting this afternoon. Everybody with the exception to our principal of student services, Ms. Trusley, as she just did the onboarding with student services here the last couple weeks. But with introductions with our principal, we have Mr. Gaskell. He is our principal of Career Tech. We have Mr. Herzog, who is principal of Academics. And then we have Mr. Weaver, who is principal of Career Tech. And I serve as the high school director here. We've been together now for 5 years, so you don't see that very often. So we have great chemistry, and our philosophy is always to put students first. Okay, so thank you again, and we look forward to meeting you. Next slide here is what we stand for. It's our mission, our vision, and our belief statements. Okay, so to touch upon our mission, what we do day in, day out is to empower, prepare, inspire, and connect. Okay, so what does that mean exactly? We want to be able to empower our students so they can determine their own next steps after high school. We want to prepare them with the knowledge, skills, and credentials needed to be successful in those next steps. We want to inspire our students with meaningful, relevant, engaging work and experiences. And last but not least, we want to connect with our students. We want to build relationships that are built on trust, respect, and empathy, as well as we want to make connections to business and industry so our students can start to develop contacts now while they're in high school. And as a result of doing that day in, day out for 1 or 2 years, because we have students that come for 1 year senior only programming, our vision is that every single life that walks through our doors is elevated as a result of coming to a Delaware Area Career Center. Been here now for 11 years, and I've seen thousands of lives transformed as a result of coming to the Career Center. So thank you. Moving on, talk just briefly about our agenda. So these are the items that we are going to discuss on this onboarding call this afternoon. Obviously, we want to get everybody kind of moving in the same direction as we onboard you to the Career Center. Next up, I want to talk just briefly about before school starts. So I'm going to send communication here in mid-July, so you can start to prepare yourself with what we need to complete before the start of the school year. So it's going to be a nice letter where it's going to have a lot of to-do action items. And first of all is registration. And we're actually going to send out registration here next week at our acceptance celebration on April 25th. And then we also have other action items as you see up there on the screen. And moving forward, just talking a little bit about registration. Again, you will receive that through email. The sender is going to be that no reply at delawareareacc.org. So this is going to be where you officially register with your health and medical information. You can also register for a student parking permit. And then also you're going to see some other DACC policies and procedures. We also have our student handbook within that registration. So again, just giving everybody a heads up, you will see that next week. Next up, I want to introduce you to Mr. Gaskell, who is our Principal of Career Tech. Thank you, everybody. Sorry, Mr. Gaskell.
Sorry about that. My first time using Microsoft Teams. My name is Mr. Gaskell. Welcome to our DACC family, as Mr. Gillum stated earlier. This is my fifth year here at the school and with our administrative team. And as he stated, this school has some tremendous opportunities for our students, and it's really a fantastic place for kids to come and spend time learning about a passion that they have. So we're excited to welcome you. Can't wait to see you arrive here for us with us next fall. So one of the jobs that I get to cover today is to talk about money and making payments to our school. So just like your home schools, there are things in which program fees and other course fees that apply. And so we want to make sure that we answer some of those questions up front and address some of those barriers and stumbling blocks that we've noticed that students and parents have had over the years as they make the transition and try to work with two schools instead of just one. So like some of our home schools, we use Pay School Central. So you are not able to, though, this is one of the things that sometimes parents and kids want to do right out of the gate, is be able to log in and create an account. But we'll not be able to do that until the student schedules are finalized, and that's in August for our schedule pickup. So even if you already have a Pay Schools account through your homeschool, you still have to create a new account for us. And that's something that I wanted to make sure that I point out, that is a stumbling point at times, that you have to have Pay School Central accounts, one for your home school and one for our school. And you have to use a different email address than the one that you use for your homeschool account. So this is a slide that's got an important, helpful tip, because if you try to use any of that same information, it will not be able to create that account. But when you get your schedule in August, the schedule pickup, it'll have a 6-digit student ID number on it, and that's what you will use to create your account with us. And that live link is here on this at the bottom of this page, and there is a button there called Register. So you'll click on that and then follow the prompts to create your account here at the Career Center. So one of the things that you have to do, like at your home school, is pay some school fees. So we have some options for you to do that. So we wanted to make sure that we tried to get that out so you can think about what option you feel is best for you. So one, to pay school fees, you can pay by a check. And there's some directions there. Lillian Robinson, who works in our main office, manages our checks. So you can either mail those to us, attention to Lillian Robinson, or you can have your student drop that check off if you don't pay for the fees at schedule pickup. Just make sure you identify your student and lab in the memo section of that check. You can also use our Pay School Central system, which we just talked about, once you create that account, and you can use a credit card to do that. There is a link on this slide, and when you get a copy of this PDF, you'll be able to click on that, and it will take you to a process sheet for how to set up that your account. And all of these process pages are in our school website. And finally, you can also set up a payment plan. Lillian Robinson will manage that with you also, and that allows you to break up that payment into smaller chunks. So there's a form that's linked here to show you how to do that with Ms. Robinson. On our next slide, Having kids be able to eat at school is always very important. So there's some option for paying for student meals here. You can pay cash at the register. Most of our students do not, but that is an option. You can pay by check if you want to put money onto your student's lunch account by check. Again, write that check to the Delaware Career Center, put your student's name and lab in the section, and then that check should be delivered by your student directly to our cafeteria manager, and he'll process that. Or you can mail it to our school with attention cafeteria manager on that, whose name is Kendall Friend, by the way, and he will get that processed for you. A third option for that is you can, again, use our Pay School system, log into your account and add money onto the lunch account. And there's a step sheet linked here to show you how to do that. Next up, Chromebooks. So most of our labs and our full-time academic program require students to have Chromebooks or a compatible device here as part of the classroom supplies. So students are welcome to bring their own device, but we also have devices, Chromebooks here that students and families can purchase through our technology department. That can be done on schedule pickup night. I think we actually have about a week before our schedule pickup. So sometime in early August, our IT department starts hosting some open hours in which students and families can come into the building ahead of time to either get your own device calibrated or to purchase one of our devices. Those devices, if we sell them to you, are $250, and that charge, if you get it, will not show up on your account until after September 1st. So just know that it's something that some of our families have said to us, that they know that they've made that, they picked up that Chromebook, but the charge doesn't come in till after they may have paid their other fees. So we just want to try to make sure that everybody knows that charge will show up, but not until after September 1st if you purchase that Chromebook through us. Finally, I think my last slide is about our free and reduced lunch applications. So if you are completing that application at your home school and are approved, please know that we also require you to fill out an application with us. So just because you are approved at your home school, you also need to do an application here with us to have that approved and on file here with us as well. And so once you have that submitted to us and are approved, some of the program fees may be waived as a result. So I think that's all I had to share. No, actually, I forgot. The one item that I'm talking about that does not involve money is the immunizations requirement. And so you can read here on the slide, and this is not new. This has been around for a while, that you got to have that meningitis booster prior to the start of 12th grade. So this is just a reminder that if your child has not received that booster, that has to be done prior to the start of school, and that there is an exclusion date at some point, but most of our families are able to get that handled, and the immunization record submitted to our school nurse prior to the start of school. So I think that is my final slide. Mr. Weaver, all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Gaskell. Hello, everybody. I'm Mr. Weaver. I'm one of our principals here, like Mr. Gillum said in the beginning of our slideshow. I have a few slides that I'm going to go over. The slides that I talk about a lot of times are very frequent asked questions. So the first slide I'm going to talk about is our school calendar. Actually, our school calendar was approved at our board meeting last night. If Miss Mowry has not done so yet, it looks like she just did. She dropped a link to it in the chat, so you are able to look at that. A couple very key things with the school calendar is our students, our DACC students, follow both schedules of their home high school as well as the DACC schedule. This gets very confusing from time to time, but just know that students do follow both of those schedules. And if a very key point to that is if their home district has a scheduled day off, not a snow day, not a calamity day, not one of those situations, but it's a scheduled day off on the calendar, but DACC is in session, those students are still expected to attend DACC. Go to that next slide there, Mr. Gillum. Thank you. So something very much in relation to the previous slide is transportation. So in those situations where students have their home district a day off, as their schedule says, but we are in session, students and families are very much encouraged to reach out to their home district transportation to see how that's coordinated. They are still required to provide transportation to us here at DACC, and they do that. But each of our districts look a little different in how they go about that. So the best way to find out exactly what to do is just to contact your home district transportation. You're welcome to reach out to us, but your best source of information is going to be them. And that's for also not just those weird days, but also just for in general what your transportation arrangements are. So what your pickup times are, what your bus stop is, what bus you get on at your home school to come here to DACC, all of that information. Your home district transportation can be the best source of information to get that to you. A couple more things with transportation. We have 3 off-campus programs. We have our equine science program that's located at the Delaware County Fairgrounds. We have our wildlife and resource management program that's located at Camp Lazarus. And we have our zoo program that's located at the zoo. Our zoo program, students are required to provide their own transportation. There is no busing that buses students to the zoo or to and from the zoo from their home school. So students do need to provide their own transportation for that. For equine and wildlife, our students do come to DACC and then either stay on their bus that will then go to those locations, or they transfer to a different bus from their district to then go to those locations. And then it's the opposite of that for when their class is over to get back to their home district or here for full day classes. Next slide, Mr. Gillum. Student parking permits. So we do offer students the privilege to drive and park here on campus. Our parking permits are way cheaper than they are that of their home schools. So they're only $5. One thing with this is I would very much recommend don't buy that in advance. Wait till you get your license. If you do not have it yet, but you plan on getting it later in the school year as a junior or even as a senior, wait till you do get your license to get that. We have plenty of parking now at this point, and with us opening up a new parking lot in the near future, that won't be a problem. You'll be able to get a parking permit. And with that, we do have an application process. Students have to have insurance and register with us before they can start driving and parking here on campus. All right, next slide. We have some very important upcoming events. Our acceptance celebration is actually next week. These are situations where we have structured sessions with the instructors of your programs that you'll be coming to. You'll be able to tour the building, and we have some celebration activities for you when you are here on that evening. Schedule pickup is right before school starts. It is August 7th. That night, again, you can do some tours, check in with instructors, get Chromebooks. You receive your schedules, but mainly you have your student code, your student ID, all that kind of stuff. You can pay those school fees. You can purchase your parking permit at that point if you already drive, and then you can connect with our school counselors if you need to. And then our first day of school will be here before we know it, is August 14th. Again, that was my last slide. Mr. Herzog's up next. Very nice to welcome all of you guys. Look forward to meeting you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice that you're here and hearing all this great information. I am Mr. Herzog. I'm our principal of academics here, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some safety, security, as well as our academic model, and then I'll finish off with attendance. So let's start with safety and security. Just know that it is a top priority for all of us here on a daily basis at DACC. So we keep our doors locked at all times. Visitors that come to the school have to buzz in, have to be verified. They go through background check or, a simple verify check at the counter so that they can get a photo ID. They wear it. We take this very serious. So if you happen to come up during the day and you want to come into the building, please make sure you buzz in, you talk to the receptionist, and we have that whole process. For students, obviously we have staff at the doors during the entry times and the exit times during the day. And we also ask that our students wear their IDs, their photo IDs. And we'll talk a little bit about that more on the next slide, but that is something that we consider to be a safety priority, as a photo ID for all of our staff members as well as our students. Next slide, Mr. Gillum. All right, more about those IDs. So the expectation is that our students do wear them at all times. Again, it's for safety and security purposes, and it also helps us learn their names early in the year. You know, as far as the staff is concerned, if we don't have them in class, we'd like to be able to call them by their first name. Students will get issued a staff or a student ID rather. If they happen to lose it or if it becomes damaged, they can purchase a new one for $5. They just need to come to the office to do that. This is not only a safety and security piece, but as you know, more and more employers these days require their employees to wear photo IDs. So it's actually helping to prepare them for the work after high school. And then of course also we do have dress expectations for our students, and you know, we like to use the line dress for success and preparation for the workforce. So you know, we have those items outlined in our student handbook, so please review those when you have an opportunity. And then students will also follow their lab teacher protocol when it comes to dress. You know, as far as what's expected in the lab, whether it's a uniform, whether it's particular items, but they will receive information about that. Next slide. All right, our daily schedule. There you see a picture of one of our academic areas, and we'll talk more about that here in a moment. But our half-day juniors, you will attend your lab in the morning from here at DACC from 7:50 to 10:50. Unless of course you're at the zoo school, which they're reversed. So their labs would attend from 12:30 to 3 p.m. So for our full day juniors, you're in your lab in the morning, and then at 10:52 you begin your academic classes here. And so within that time period, there's a lunch period that we have for full day students. They eat from 11:43 to 12:13. If you are a half-day student and you're on this call, or a parent, rest assured your homeschool will schedule a lunch period for your student when they arrive back to the homeschool. If you're a flexible learning options student or parent, just know that your day here at the Career Center starts at 2:45, it ends at 5. That's Monday through Thursday. Your Fridays are a hybrid learning assignment. So it's a hybrid learning where you're not in the building on Fridays as a flexible learning option student, but you'll have assignments to complete that count as your attendance and as part of your grade. Next slide. Okay, so talking a little more about our academic model here. It is very unique. It's one of the most unique systems I've ever been a part of. I'm very fortunate to be here and be somebody that's working within it to help refine it and grow it and help it to evolve over the years. So full day students that attend here, you will be in person for your academic classes Monday through Thursday. Half of that time you'll spend in a traditional classroom setting. Traditional whiteboards up on the wall, desk arranged as you would imagine in a classroom. Okay. The other 50% of your time you'll be in what we call the big space. And those are where students have a little more independent learning time, of course, guided by their instructor, but it's a little more less traditional than what you would normally see in a classroom. So it's a 50-50 split with your instructor as to how they have you scheduled. On Fridays, you're not in person for your academics. Your class not run here. Instead, you have assignments, hybrid assignments that are posted on Thursdays in your instructor's Canvas courses. And so you will actually complete and submit those assignments. The attendance deadline is always on Monday at 7:50 a.m. That's how our teachers account for your attendance on those Fridays. We will actually start this on September 6th. So the Fridays before September 6th, they will be in person. Okay, your teachers, we will cover this with you at the beginning on those first couple of days of school to make sure you are aware. Parents, we will also be sending out information on the newsletter to remind you as well. It's Monday through Friday up until September 6th, and then it's hybrid for academics. Our academic teachers do host office hours using Microsoft Teams on Fridays. Their office hours do not conflict with other class subjects, so students can attend the office hours if they wish, if they need a little extra assistance in completing an assignment. It is not required. It does not count as your attendance, but it is a support that you have. So if there happens to be transportation issues, for students that they're not able to arrange to go home, we will have some staff members here present on Friday during the academic time. For juniors, again, that's in the afternoon. We will be supervising students. Kind of think of it as like a giant study hall within the school. There's actually not that many students. There's usually between 7 and 10 students is what we average, but it's a quiet time. It's a good environment. If students need to complete their academic work, we have staff members to supervise and monitor those students. They can still log into their Microsoft Teams sessions to get assistance from their teachers, etc. So next slide. All right, after hearing that, you might be wondering, why do we do this model? What's the purpose of it? And so on this slide, you're going to see a couple of bulleted items there. And as I talk, just kind of read through them. But our model has evolved over the last 15 years here. We've gone from implementing some pilot of hybrid Fridays into having qualification methods for hybrid Friday. And now we have arrived that all students have hybrid Friday who are full day for their academics on Fridays. And so the purpose behind that is that when we hear from our employers that work with us, that partner with us, they tell us that the 21st century work skills, such as independent learning skills, time management, time budgeting, goal setting, progress monitoring, and also just the continual use of technology, is something that they are seeing lacking in new employees, especially right out of the high school or college ranks. And so we are giving students the opportunity to practice these skills when it's not so high stakes, right? When it's high school, we can work with you to build up those skills and to get better at them, versus on the job where it might be more of a situation of if you retain your job or not. So those are the reasons behind this model. We've seen a lot of positive response from our students over the years, and parents and employers and our board members, of course. One thing that we also like to point out is that by having your Fridays as hybrid, this allows especially our senior students to engage in more consistent work-based learning experiences. So you can schedule time at your job, you can schedule internships, because you have that time not here at DACC. But the caveat to that is that you have to complete those assignments because it's counting as your attendance, okay? Next slide. All right, so how do we help our students who might be lacking in some of those skills? If it's equipment, if it's Wi-Fi, if it's computer tech needs, our tech department will assist students and families the best we can, and our teachers will as well in those areas. At the beginning of the school year, our teachers work with students, talking about and also exposing them to learning modules through Canvas about those skills that I just referred to, so that they can see the importance and take a little deeper dive into those. And then also our staff members are really good about updating attendance and grades on a consistent basis so that parents can monitor that through PowerSchool and through Canvas. We take a lot of pride in this model. We want to make sure our parents are good partners with us and that they have the necessary information. Parents, how can you help your student with this model? One thing that I've recommended to many parents and students over the years is to ask their students to show them on Thursday evenings that they have submitted their assignments. This helps to prevent procrastination. Okay, we know that high schoolers like to procrastinate. Oh, I've got these 4 assignments. I'll wait till Sunday night to do them. Sunday night comes, you don't finish it, something happens. Now your assignments are not submitted by 7:50. Monday morning, now you're receiving unexcused absences on your attendance record, which then trickle into other things. So we recommend starting Thursday night, students who have that time and ability, get those assignments submitted on Thursday evening. That way you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You don't have to worry about those things. Of course, Friday is a great time to submit those assignments as well. Encourage your students to join the team's office hours that our teachers have. Very helpful. Any student that's ever joined the team's meeting has never had a distance learning absence associated, with that week, with that assignment, because they got the assistance that they need. So please encourage them to do that. Contact your students' teachers. Email's really the preferred way, because it's going to be the most immediate to get a response. But contact your students' teachers early and often if you notice or start getting attendance notices that they are accumulating these distance learning absences. It's really the best source of you being able to get the information why the student's not completing the assignment, what trends they're seeing, is there struggle points, or is there other information that they want to share. Our teachers do reach out to parents as well, but it's important that I point out that it's a two-way street. It's very helpful. Next slide.
Mr. Herzog, before we move on, can you
Yeah.
address just what we mean by timely Power School updates? So
Yeah.
I think the third bullet down.
Yeah, our teachers, the expectation is that our teachers enter in grades within the week. So within a week of it being assigned and due, that those grades are updated in Power School, so that when parents look at Power School, that they're looking at something that's if it's not exactly up to date, it's within a day or two, so that they have accurate information. Does that help answer, Ms. Mowry?
Yes, I think so. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So attendance and the academic model is tied to attendance because of the distance learning and all that stuff. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit. As you know, attendance at school is critical. It's one of the most clear indicators of success for students. So we expect our students to be here as much as they possibly can. We know that students are going to get sick. We know that there's going to be reasons why you have to miss from time to time. For unexpected absences, we ask that students or parents please complete the report and absence form that is on our website or in the mobile app. We'll talk about that here in a moment. Before 9 a.m. of the morning of the absence. So, the previous evening, that your student's not going to come because they're ill. Please complete that form on our website or app as soon as you can. What happens is in the morning, we go ahead and enter in that parent call-in into the system. If we have that coded as a parent call-in, you will not receive an automated dialer from our system that lets you know that your student is absent. If we don't receive a notice from you and the student is just not here, like every other school you've probably been associated with, you'll get that automatic dialer around 9:30 in the morning, because we're required by law to notify parents within 2 hours that their student is absent from school. Okay, so that will help reduce that if you can fill out that form ASAP. If you have a prearranged absence, you're going to go on a college visit, or you're going to go, have a homeschool function that you have to be at, you can swing by the attendance office or download it off of our website, the prearranged absence form. That gives us an early indication. You can just simply fill that out. Instructors have to complete it as well, because they get notified of the absence. Once that's completed, it comes to me. We enter it into the system. And then again, you will not receive those automated dialer calls about absences. So our board policy allows for 15 absences with a parent excuse. So that would be a parent call-in or a parent note. Anything after that would require something like a medical note for it to be excused. Obviously, if you've exhausted the 15 days of parent call-ins and parent notes, we still want you to call in and notify when they're not going to be here, but it will count as unexcused time. That's just per state law. If you have medical notes, even before you exhaust all 15, turn those in, because medical notes do not count in any of the House Bill 410 truancy laws and things like that we'll talk about here in a moment. Again, this is highlighted in yellow. Mr. Weaver talked about it. If your homeschool is closed due to like something that's planned, like a teacher work day, but DACC is open, students are still required and expected to attend their classes here and be on time. It's a regular day of attendance for us, so we will take attendance as we normally would. Okay. Next slide. Okay. You've heard me talk about DLAs and distance learning absences. Again, you're probably sick of it at this point, but just take a look. That's what would show on an attendance report are the letters DLA, and that's what would indicate that the student missed the attendance deadline for those assignments on Mondays at 7:50. Okay. That the school districts in Ohio are required to follow House Bill 410, which is the truancy laws. There's two categories. When a student reaches 65 total absence hours, that could be all excused or unexcused or a combination thereof. I have to notify you in writing. So I send out an email with a letter that says, hey, you've missed 65 total absence hours for this school year. Is there something that we should know? How can we help? This is a lot of school at this point. What is it that we can assist you with? Okay. That's kind of the spirit of that letter. The habitual truant letter is when students have 72 unexcused hours for the school year. Again, that requires a meeting between the parent, the student, the school, and a Delaware County court liaison to develop an attendance improvement plan. Okay. So that we can monitor over the next 60 days. Medical excuses do not count in either of these categories. So if you have them, don't forget to turn them in. All right, next slide. You heard me mention our app earlier. Really important that you have it on your phone. You get automatic and quick, timely updates. Also, you can access that report and absence form there as well. News, announcements, events, lunch menus, Power School access, Canvas access, all that good stuff. So you can actually just search Delaware Area Career Center in your app store and you can find that app. Next slide. All right, Ms. Mowry, I think this might be
Great.
where you're at. Yeah.
Well, thank you for covering everything. We will sit tight for a second to see if anyone has any questions. I just want to take this moment to say that I know it can be intimidating sometimes to meet with your school principal, but these guys are so concerned about student success. And this is what they're here for. This is what they come to work for every single day. So they are here for you. They're here for your students. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to reach out to us or reach out to your student's teacher. We have the privilege of having your students for a 3-hour lab period, so their teachers really get to know them. It's important to us that you feel comfortable starting the next school year and that you feel like you know what to expect. So we will hang out for just a second to see if anyone has any other questions to throw into the chat, but otherwise, you can give us a call, you can email us. Any of those emails you get from Ms. Trustley, you can respond to those and they will land in a person's inbox. It's not an automated bot, so you will get to a human being who will answer your questions. And we're looking forward to seeing everybody at our acceptance celebration soon. Erica said this was really helpful. Thank you, Erica. We're excited to have your son next year. Fantastic. If you thought this was a good use of your time, just give us a thumbs up. This is something that we do every year for our families. We want to make sure that we're giving you the right information. Wonderful. That's great to hear. Lots of thumbs ups. Deanna asked, if DACC is closed and your homeschool is open, what do you do? Do you guys want to take that one?
Yeah, I can answer that. So if a student is full day, then you would adhere to our closure. But if the student is half day and it's safe to get to that homeschool, then you would go ahead and go to the homeschool.
Perfect. And I'm going to drop a link in the chat. I had a couple people ask about the counselor information session. We did email that out. So if you are not getting emails from us regularly, please check your junk folder. They should be coming from yourfuture@delawareareacc.org. And then the link that I'm putting in there now is our student and parent hub. So the counselor information session along with the slides are linked there. And then once we download this recording, we'll post the recording to the session and those slides in that same spot. And then there's a lot of links to things we referenced here today, such as the bell schedule, the district calendar, our fees, the student permit passes, things like that. So this is a good place for you to go to look for some of those resources. Mr. Weaver, somebody just said, can a bus from your home school take you to DACC in the morning?
Yeah, so our most typical situation that I believe all of our schools do for the most part is students will get on the bus in the morning from their bus stop or their home, take it to their high school, and then transfer to a different bus that then comes here and drops students off here at DACC. And then the opposite of that to go home.
And do students usually catch on to that system pretty quickly?
Yeah, absolutely. The first few days are kind of tricky, just with anything else, but we're all hands on deck. There's plenty of staff members. Myself will be out in bus alley directing students exactly where to go. So yeah.
All right. If any of your students are unsure what to do on the first couple of days, just ask questions. Everybody starts the new year new. Everyone's coming to a new school together. So it's not out of the ordinary at all to wander in and say, hey, where do I go? What do I do? Where am I supposed to be? All right. Well, we will let everyone go. I'm going to end the meeting in just a minute. If you hang up and say, "Oh shoot, I just thought of something I want to ask," reach out at any time. Like I said, your teacher or any of our administrators, we're here to help you out and get those questions answered. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for all your great information, and thank you everyone for joining us today.